Hello Simmers and welcome back to my channel. I've actually gotten into a challenge spree and I'm doing the same challenge I did on Saturday, which is the challenge where it's kind of like a challenge that Kayla Sims made where you actually have a house that you renovate that's an EA build, and using their restrictions you try to renovate it in a way that looks better than the original build, which it's because she started it because EA comes out with these awful builds and she thought she could make them look better with using these restrictions, but we don't know these restrictions, so she just stuck to the item count, and she also stuck to the budget. And now the more videos that come out, she adds like a little bit of budget, which is reasonable because in a house, like a renovation house, I don't know why I said it like that, but in a house renovation, you usually have a budget, which you can add to it. But I'm not going to do that for this one. This one, I went completely off of the money I had, but in all fairness, uh, I they use a lot of expensive stuff in this house, and I try to do that, but I wanted to think in mind, because I got rid of all their money. They're still a rich family, so I wanted to keep some money in their bank, and I do. I end up with like $15,000, which is a lot in the Sims world because I don't like rent is kind of cheap in this game, um, but if you want, you can just like cheat the game up. But I kind of made my own little rules while doing this. I don't think Little Simsy counts windows and doors. I'm not so sure. But I included the windows and doors, and those counted as items for me. So if I needed to add a door to a wall, then that counted as an item. So it was kind of tricky doing it. And this house is, I really like the side part with the chimney. Like, I think that's very beautiful, but this house is weird. Like, the part behind it is weird. So I try to make it look a little more normal, but I don't know if it still ends up looking weird in the end. I really tried to make a good build. So I hope you guys enjoy what you see me make and what actually happens. But the last build I did, I had a little trouble figuring out how to furnish it. Like, I ran out of items to use. And this one, I did run out of items, like, at the end. But it didn't look as empty. So I think it came out really good. And I that's what I'm proud of. Like, I'm so proud of it. And, like, I was like, oh my god, I furnished the whole house. And but I did include toilet paper in every bathroom, and I do that at the end. So it might not seem important to you, but I feel like this house would have toilet paper. So I had to get rid of a few items. Like, I put double sinks in the bathroom, so that was one thing. But I didn't see there was a flower box on the back porch, so I probably could have got rid of that, and that was an extra item. But um, I don't want to look at what I did. And you can even see, I think I delete some windows. Like, I deleted two right there, but I only put one back in. Like, so that was an extra item I probably could have had. And I wasn't thinking properly, but um, the whole time I was really trying to keep count of my window uses and my item uses. So you might see, like, in the video I'll just add stuff, but I wrote down like how much stuff I deleted, so I compensated like what I used. So if you really want to nitpick the video a little bit, um, if you're really into this video, because you might even catch me doing something wrong. I don't think I did, but you might catch me. I might have slipped up a little bit. But if you go through the video and count the items. It should be exact. Um, but I had fun doing this challenge. And oh, again, the last one was Windenburg and base game, and this one is also Windenburg and base game. I might try a build that's just base game. It's not really that hard building with limited packs. A lot of the packs that you get, or well, base game especially, base game has a lot of items itself. So it's not really a limitation if you only have just the base game. Um, and that's what I notice a lot, like, a part of the Sims community. A lot of people starting out, they get a little discouraged, especially, like, in shell challenges. Like, when you see, all the Simmers do shell challenges, no, shell challenges, you see that, um, like, all these people are like, oh, I only have the base game, I can't participate. Don't let that discourage you. Go ahead and do it. Like, I remember for the longest time I didn't have any other pack but base game, but I was excited, and I actually got a lot of downloads starting out because I would make these base game mentions, and I think a lot of people, um, I, I started out actually 2 years after the game came out, so I was a little late to the party, but I always wanted it. I just didn't have enough money. But I saved up my money. I forgot where I got the money. Like, it was, I earned it somehow. But as I got older, I got a job and then I worked for the money. But I remember there was a time where it was really hard to get packs, and I really appreciated the ones I got because I earned it myself. Um, and that was the funnest part. Like, a lot of you may feel down that you don't have a lot of money, and I understand that struggle because there was a long time where I didn't have a lot of money. My family, we were just focused on getting food in the house and not um, getting games. So I understand the struggle, but it does feel rewarding when you get that one game that you really want to play. And for me, that was The Sims. So I take comfort in having The Sims in my life, and I'm glad that I got it. It's always made me happy. The weird thing is, I think I've said it in another video, but the thing about The Sims is that it never gets old for me. Like, there's periods where I'm like, oh, I don't want to build, or I don't want to play, or I don't want to do this. But I always go back to this game, and my boyfriend's always like, well, why do you play that game, and why do you spend all of this money on this one game if there's all these other games that you can be playing for the same amount that you pay for The Sims? And I always answer, like, The Sims is ever expanding for me. When I get a new pack, or when I get a new something for it, like an update or whatever, it feels like a whole new game. Like when toddlers were added, or just like a whole bunch of things. Like, for a while there weren't even pools in the game. Um, but it always felt like something bigger, better, new. So I never had a problem with spending so much money on The Sims. And I know, like, a bunch of people don't like it. The pricing or something about The Sims. Um, there's always that one thing, but I don't know. I kind of like that I had to pay for every pack that I got because it meant that I cherished it a little bit more, like when I was playing it. And I don't know. It always felt like that for me. And maybe you don't like the prices on the game because it is a little steep in price, but it feels all the more better when you know that you earned that money. No matter how you earned it, you bought your game, and you're playing it. And this game isn't for everyone, I'll admit that. So I don't think, I'm not going to defend The Sims being like, it's the best game, you should get it. I just really enjoyed it. It helps a lot of people through tough times in their lives, and um, I really enjoy playing it, and I hope you guys do too. But I do have a funny story about this build. I was playing the game, and I had built like a few rooms already, and then I lost all the footage. It wasn't too long. It was like 20 to 30 minutes of time that I was building, but I was building and I lost some of it, and I did a lot of the build, but I realized what point I did it at, and or I didn't lose the footage. I lied. I totally lied to you just now. Totally forgot. I was thinking of a different time. No, I lost the save. Cause I didn't save after a while, but I had all the footage. The story would have been so backwards if I said it wrong. But I'm just a little tired. I worked basically a full shift today at work, and it's hot outside, so I'm sorry if I'm a little off. But um, I lost gameplay because my computer. This took 2 days for me to build, and my computer I accidentally left on during the night, and I didn't save, so I lost a point to where I build. And you'll probably notice based on how it jumped, but um, I had to delete some of the footage because I had to redo parts of the house, and I changed it up just a little bit. I didn't change anything drastically, but I basically had to redo a whole part of a video, and it's so upsetting when you know you have the recording but you just can't like put it in. And like that line used to be a plant, and I don't remember what painting I had on the wall, but um, it still looks similar and if not better. And I like how it turned out. And the Oni room, I felt like didn't feel the same with Max's room, and I think it still looks really great. And I'll talk about it a little more when we get to the room. But he's the only room that doesn't have an ensuite. Everybody else does, including the office room. So I had to use I had to figure out 5 items at the end for 5 rolls of toilet paper because there's 5 bathrooms, and maybe that's why he's so mad because like he doesn't even get his own bathroom. But um, I think it's fitting. Like they're a rich family, there would be bathrooms all over the house. And maybe he didn't get the bathroom because he was the last kid. Like he was probably an afterthought to his dad because he's like, I'm gonna die before you go to college anyway. So that was my thought process on that one. I used to use the garden tools a lot as like decoration when I first started building, and then I stopped. And so I used it in this one, and I think it worked well with the whole aesthetic of the room. And the kitchen and the dining room was a really big area, but I think I filled the space really well in a way that it didn't look empty. Like I had a fireplace and I had a few more things, and I think it fills it really nicely. I used a lot of plants, and I just spaced it out a little bit from the wall so it looked more like it was filling the room. And the first time I was doing the build, I didn't even notice the suit of armor in the stuff that I put in the household. But just in case you don't know, when you're playing with a house, like a lot with a household in it, that's the only way you can have like a fund and an inventory, which is important to this challenge. So I couldn't like evict them and then put them back in the house. So when you sell something like the suit of armor, it's locked behind a paywall, and there's like a cheat you can put in, but I always forget it, so I don't use it. So I'll use like a bunch of stuff that is just in the regular menu. So I couldn't, like the first time I was doing the downstairs, I couldn't get a suit of armor, and I wanted to use it. So I was so happy when it was actually a good thing that um, my footage restarted itself because, well, my game restarted itself, and I had to redo the footage for the downstairs. It wasn't the whole downstairs. It was a majority of it, but um, like I already done the living room and filmed that and saved that point, and then I did some of the outside. So I didn't lose everything, but I think I would have been a little more discouraged if I lost like completely everything, but I didn't. So that's a good thing. And it's not like I lost the footage. I could have looked at it a little bit and saw what I missed. Oh, and I just want to apologize if you hear some background noises. Um, like my boyfriend, he's a chef, so he's cooking and stuff. And I think he's like making purees and stuff like that. So he's using a blender and he's out there watching TV. So I apologize. I didn't know he's gonna do all this while I was recording, but I kind of want to get this out. I want to get it out and edited and ready so it's out for Tuesday. It's Sunday right now, but I want to be ahead of time because I know I have the next. I work today until 1:30, but then I have the next 2 days off, and then I have to work like 5 days in a row. So I want to get some footage, some gameplay ready. So I'm kind of like, I guess you could say I'm pre-recording, but I just like to be ahead a little bit. But I'm excited because Eco Living is coming out on the 5th. So I will start doing that gameplay on, I believe it's Friday, when it comes out. But the update's coming on the 2nd, which that's going to include ladders. And then it's actually going to include, it's going to fix the terrain paint glitch. And it's also going to do it so that you can put your doors and windows on, like, not the set slots that it usually has. Like, you'll have more free ways to build, which is amazing. It's probably going to take forever to download though, so I'll try to get that done early in the morning, and then I can film a little bit showing you guys a little bit of what the update did. I don't know, because maybe that will be a bonus video if I can get it up on time, because I have the Snow White challenge on Thursday, and this is being released Tuesday when you guys see it, and Sunday obviously. So I don't know, maybe I'll do an extra video either on Tuesday or Wednesday, just showcasing what stuff there is and all the things that you guys can see and play with and utilize, and it will make these challenges more fun if I can place the windows wherever and doors. Because some windows would be a better fit, and it's just you can't use them just because of how the game is. But this is the eldest son's room. I always forget all my Tony Sims names. I should know them, but this is his room. I think he's a little more sophisticated because he's part of the upper crust. So I gave him like a more adult room. Before, EA makes a lot of kitty looking houses, and I mean that in the nicest way. It's just like with the oldest daughter, I feel like she would be more sophisticated because she is a part of like a snooty club, like a girly club. I don't know, I see it more as like a sorority club. Like they're getting ready for the sorority. And I feel like she would have like a high taste in like fashion and her room and stuff like that. And that's what I get from that club because I don't want to be rude, but I think everybody gets the impression that the club that she's in is like a snooty club, or like they think they're better than a lot of people, and I feel like her room should portray that. Like it's still like Barbie pink, like it has like a lot of pink in the room, and it's like how the old room used to be a little bit, but I think I classed it up and made it a little more sophisticated. But you'll see throughout the video I'm like deleting stuff along the way, either before or after I put stuff down, so that's just to keep track of what I've been using, and I think it's very helpful to have a household inventory on this. I noticed when little Simsy does it, she doesn't always use the household inventory. Like, she'll put them in the front yard. But that's a little confusing for me. I think it clears up my mind a little bit. And it gives you more of a catalog of what you can use. Like, you're like, oh, I need a desk? There's one. um, but yeah, that's how I like to play. But, you know, like, everybody plays a different way. And that's just how I play. And I think this was a really cool idea of her. I remember now it's like a real challenge for her, but when little Simsy started, she was like, "Nah, I got this." Like, their baby. um, she didn't say all that, but like, she did think highly of her building skills and low of EA's. um, but it's just basically the sim gurus don't have a lot of power when creating a pack, because they have to, like, for builds they have to make it accessible for a lot of people. And obviously a lot of items is gonna break somebody's game. But I did notice on a lot of these bigger lots, these mansions, some of them will be really empty, but then they'll have like a million like shrubs, or they'll have like a million of something little, and it doesn't make sense all the time. Like, why they did that when, like, I think the recent, one of the most recent videos, I don't think it was the most recent of Little Simsies, um, there was like a bunch of like little ground shrubs, and they just didn't make sense. They were all on top of each other, and it just made for extra items for her. So I mean, that's a good thing, but it's like, why did they think to do that? And I'm only bringing up Little Simsy a lot in this video. It's because I haven't really seen a lot of other people do it, and I think I kind of see her as the creator of this. I just haven't been looking around that too much, and I haven't seen a lot of videos covering it. So I take a lot of inspiration from her building, and I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot about her. It just makes sense for someone who does a lot of these videos. I think it's a good reference. So, like, if you guys want to see more videos like this, because I've only made 2 so far, but you can look around and see the challenge a little bit, and see what the thought process was of the person who thought of doing it. Because I don't think anybody else has done it before. I'm going to be honest. I haven't. It's pretty unique to me. I didn't think of doing this before, or I don't think, because nobody wants to use the restrictions, but once you do, it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. But I really enjoyed like doing this whole house. It has so much character. The youngest son, I said I was gonna talk about it earlier in the video, but his is like more of a rebel room, and I did give him a stuffed animal because he had no toys earlier, so I included a like a devil, or I think it's a dragon, but I took it more of like a devil statue, not statue, devil stuffed animal. So I gave him one toy, because he is a kid, and I think he deserves some toys at least. But I also gave him, in the side yard, I gave him a like jungle gym so he can play around in the backyard, or in the side yard. Because I consider this part where I'm doing right now the backyard, and then the gated part in on the side near the kitchen is the side yard. That's more of the informal gathering area, and I feel like the side yard is more of the formal gathering area. I did end up putting back the pool. The pool to begin with was really big for no apparent reason. So I try to compensate for that, and I actually wasn't gonna include one, but this side yard is really big, and I think it needed to be filled a little better. So I did that. It is kind of empty on the side yard for a little bit. But I feel like if you want this game and you have the computer that can handle more stuff in it, if you want, like, you can add a bunch of like tables and stuff like that just to make it a little more lived in, a little more full. And I actually sized up some trees just to make the area look bigger. Um, I always love adding those tall, skinny trees because it's like it's fancy in my head. I don't know why. Um, but I added those. Probably could have went without, but I think it adds like another level of privacy to the build, and I think it's pretty cool. I don't mind that I don't have as many trees as the original build. Um, on the map view, it doesn't look too bad with less trees, but I wish I could have filled it just a little more because um, it just looks a little empty when you're on the lot. But it looks empty on the lot in general because this is a huge lot. It's a 64 by 64, and maybe a cool way to fill this would have been to make like a beach house, but I don't think we had enough items to even come close to filling the house at all. Because if you think even the cabinets, like, you need at least, I think it's 4 cabinet spaces, um, to even make a decent house. So, that's my opinion on it. A beach house would have probably, or a beach house, they're not, well, they're kind of on a beach, but a pool house would have probably filled this a lot better, and it would make sense. But it is a more traditional home, and you'll see like keep saying beach house. You'll see pool houses more for like not like modern, but newer houses and stuff like that. You wouldn't really see it as traditional unless they renovated it or upgraded it. But I kind of wanted to keep the traditional feel. I did include archways just to the like common areas, I guess you would call them. But I think that's only fair because the original houses had arches, I believe. Um, but I like the house looks full already. I think I just was a little upset with some things, and like I added lights and stuff like that. You always wish you had more items when you get to the small amount of items, but I think overall this house came out really well, and this house looks crazy to begin with, but I think as I added in subtracted items, it looked a lot better. And I actually like this cool fencing in the background. It's actually a half wall, or it's not a half wall. Like they drew a fence on the foundation, and I think it looked really nice. So I continued it to the like hedges, and I feel like I didn't cheat, but I feel like I kind of cheated with the hedges because it adds more like greenery, and it feels like it's more landscaped with the fence hedges. But they had it to begin with in the build, and I think that was only fair. But here you'll see this is where I went in and deleted the 5 items and then added more toilet paper. Um, or well, I added toilet paper because I didn't have any. But I had to get rid of some sinks and stuff like that. And I wanted to keep that bat because originally I had that bat to begin with in his room before I lost everything. um, but I didn't know if I would have enough items. But I did end up deleting one of the things on the dresser. But to be honest, I didn't. I don't think I filled dressers well because it immediately clips to a dresser. Like items immediately clip to a dresser, and I know I can move objects and then move them back so that it looks more like used and looks more normal, but it's just so much work, and I really want to do that all the time, but sometimes I forget, or sometimes it's like I'll get back to this and then I don't. But I even add sand underneath the little jungle gym, and I think it looks nice. I heard that you can actually build sandcastles in that ever since the Sulani world came out, but I'm not sure if that's true for normal sands or not. So I think it would be really cool if the kids can play in the sand, or the kid, sorry. But I think this lot came out very nicely, and here I'm just going in with some terrain paint. Obviously, I got rid of the basement, but I think I made up for it by having a crime room in Jacques' actual bedroom. He might get caught more with it being up there, but the bedroom was A, expensive, and B, like really empty and kind of pointless. So I'm sorry. And I always thought that was the little kid's room, but I guess not. And but that's basically the whole build, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a good day. Goodbye.